Hello, everybody. This is Joey. And even though things have been on a slow decline with Maniac 4 Bricks for quite some time, and for good reason, there's a lot of things I'm taking care of personally and are taking high priority for me. There is some things that I've been doing on the side that have been really helpful, have been really good impact for me and other people, and I'm continuing it strong even if other things are taking a bit of a halt. So, this is a project known as the Spit It Out podcast. This is with a couple of my former roommates and friends of mine. There's four of us on each episode, sometimes a fifth one as a special guest. And we basically talk about our different life experiences, all of our different backgrounds and perspectives on things, because we've grown up in different ages with different families and different, work environments, home environments, and just trying to tackle things from very casual, things that we enjoy, everyday kind of stuff, to the bigger issues, the things that happen, current events, broader issues, and just getting to understand each other. That big thing about it is we get to understand each other. We're very accepting of each other's opinions, even if they are varied from each other. So I do want to share that on here because it is one of the most important things I've been doing lately. I've been running these episodes since October of 2020. We've been going strong with a new episode every Sunday, and it's something that I'm always looking forward to every week, to get to sit down and talk with everybody and get to share a lot between each other, to get to learn each other better, and to connect with you guys so that you can have a more positive message going throughout the week. So, if you want to see more about the podcast itself, you can check out the links in the description down below. I will update when the next episode is available, which is about success. How each of us defines success is actually a topic I brought up myself. And for the next 9 minutes or so, there will be an excerpt from the podcast that I share my personal take on what success means. Is there different degrees to it, how it can be achieved, and things like that. I do also want to make a note that a lot of the episodes are explicit. They have some adult material that is mentioned through there, so a couple of swear words. Again, big topics like somewhat political at times, but not every single episode is political. Don't worry about that. But these are all things I want you to know before you go into them, because some people may be more sensitive to things than others. Check for the titles and some of the descriptions to get a better sense as to what the episodes will be about, and expect a couple curse words here and there to be thrown around. So I hope you enjoyed this excerpt. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. I would love to hear from you guys as to the podcast itself, if you've enjoyed any of the episodes in whatever order that you watch them, and hopefully you get to listen in for further ones. Thank you. Take care. That kind of leads into my definition of success. It's very simple. You say it, you do it.
You say it.
And if you do it close to how you said it, that's success. Because that's what that's what you're out there to do. That's what you're planning to do. That was your goal.
Yes.
I've made tons of promises as a kid, into my teenage years, and now young adult. And they were small stuff. They weren't life-changing things, but I still made a commitment to them. That I put myself and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this thing." And whether or not it's for my benefit or for someone else, and I didn't fulfill all of them. Like, sometimes it's kind of cute when it's little, and you can brush it off. But still, I didn't. I sometimes think back on that. I'm like, I could have actually done this, or I may have been in over my head on thinking I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I try to think a little bit more about that nowadays, where it's like, okay, if I want to do something, is it something that I can actually do? Is it something that's actually in my wheelhouse of whatever skills and talents that I have, that I can work towards that and make it a thing?
Yes.
And that could go for anything big or small. I could break something down into smaller steps and say, can I do this thing, one piecemeal at a time? Like right now, I've been moving, and yeah, it's a lot to take everything all at once, but we're not going to get an entire one moving truck, throw everything in there as is, and then it's gonna magically appear at the at the new house. It's like, no, okay, let's do it piecemeal. So we've been doing drives every so often, like every few days, almost weekly, of taking just a handful of things, fill up the car, and now I've got, this room decorated, or this furniture applied, or this stuff in the storage. But I can come back and do the rest, and I can still feel good about each and every one of those getting done.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's not overwhelming. I've had many times where I go to that top tier, this is the thing I want to get done, and I don't do anything about it because it's too much, it's overwhelming. I never itemize that and say it's really not a big deal because you could do a little bit at a time and you will get there. You don't have to do it all at this immediate moment.
No,
I've backed away from so many things like that, and I feel shameful for that. And it even gets worse when I actually promise that to someone else. That whether or not it's a life changing thing, that I actually commit to someone else and they have to now hold me accountable for it. And they say, hey, did you do it? Did you? No, it hasn't shown up yet. Nothing's happened. And it's like, yeah, I probably should have done that.
I mean, baby steps, baby steps. I mean, when
Yeah.
you work toward a goal, sometimes so you have to crawl before you walk before you run.
Exactly.
Right? I think going baby steps is the best option when trying to achieve your whatever goals it may be, whether it's to yourself or promises you made others.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like sometimes you do have to just go in head first and just take the plunge.
I think on that on that aspect, on that, everybody is different because I have this in my mind. Elon Musk say this once: if someone tells you to clean your room in 3 days, you have 30 days to clean your room.
Mm-hmm.
You will do it in 3 days.
Yeah.
Because you have the time and you want to do it in 30 days because someone's telling you clean the room in 30 days. But if someone else comes to you and says you want to clean this room in 3 hours, you want to do it in 3 hours. So literally what he means is like you say, baby steps. Yes, baby steps are perfect. But also I have learned through network marketing that baby steps many times don't work. Because you start getting bored.
Yeah.
You see no progress.
There's definitely times where you have to.
So-
I guess it really depends on how baby you make each of those steps.
Exactly.
You know, like for some people they can take on a bigger load than other people can.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's like
for me, baby steps in regards to, I'm still trying to find my career, right? And I'm starting off with, I changed my resume, I changed my cover letter. That's a baby step.
right.
Next thing is now I've been spending the last week applying for jobs on LinkedIn. Not really hearing anything back yet, but that takes time. That's another step, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to, for example, when I used to vape a lot, I quit, and I wasn't gonna be.
Congratulations.
Huh?
Congratulations.
Thank you. I quit, and it wasn't because anything, health issues. It's just more because I realized how much money I spent on these fuckers. But anyway, I could have easily said, all right, I'm gonna keep vaping, but I'm gonna lower the dosage, and then in time go to 0. But that baby step can easily lead to me going the wrong way and just continue what I'm doing.
Right, that's
so
true
I
too.
took the plunge and said, fuck it, let me go cold turkey, throw out everything that has anything nicotine in it, and so far it worked.
Yeah.
You see,
That
but
can
this
work
is
for
totally
some people.
different from addiction to get something you want to.
Well, yeah, my goal was to not vape anymore.
But it's hard because
It's difficult.
you're quitting to something.
For sure, it's difficult.
You're dropping something in your life.
But my point being is...
But that's also kind of like, it's almost like the opposite, but almost the same as when you're picking up something. Say you want to get in better shape. You're not going to run 10 miles on the first day.
I did that and I haven't ran since.
See, there you go. Then you're not going to want to keep doing it. So you run the first day, maybe half a mile. Maybe the next day, or a few days from then, run a full mile. And it keeps progressing. That you bring it a bit more than what you did before. So that way your body's training itself, it's enduring, and it's going to be able to handle a bit more than what you did before, and still get to somewhere further than what you already started.
For sure.
If you're doing the same thing, if you're going to keep running half mile every few days, your body's not going to do anything. It's going to peak, and that's not going to...
It'll get used to it.
It'll get too used to it.
You got to keep pushing yourself.
Exactly. So in the same way of when you're giving up something, some people, it can work for cold turkey, but other times cold turkey doesn't work. Where they're going to say, this is so much far back, and I'm going to feel so much different that I need to get it back into my life. Well, then you could just say, have less of it over time. Just, whatever way to plan that out, so that way you can get acquainted with less and less than what you had done before, and realizing that yes, this was consuming a lot of what I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different. Everyone learns differently. Everyone, changes at different paces. So it's all a matter of whatever works for you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can try the, you know, jump in head first, go all in, or you can do the baby step version, whatever you choose. But I think at the end of the day, as long as you're making progress, whether it's leaps and bounds worth of progress or little, baby steps worth of progress.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's still progress, so you should be proud of that.
At the end of the day, my thesis is, for success, it's matching up to what you set out to do. Because if you're going a completely other direction with it, that's not success. And it's okay to admit, okay, if there was an obstacle in the way and I couldn't do that, fine. But how do you get back to what you wanted, what you were going for in the first place? That's what it is. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else remembers the computer typing program Mavis Beacon, like in elementary school.
Never heard of it.
Okay, so it's like a kids program that teaches you how to type and how, like, where to place your fingers on the keyboard so you can type as efficiently as possible.
I think that was the most useless skill.
I can't say I'm good at it either. But one thing that I learned one thing I'm trying to adapt from it in this example is that it'll show you on the top of the screen the words or the sentence that you need to type out. So the only way you're going to pass is by typing the same letters and words, the same pattern that's on the screen. So that's kind of the thinking that I have with success. You have what you already want to do, and you have to try to match that. You have to see how you're going to get that thing, but it could be millions of different ways of doing that. Fast, slow, long, or short. And the fact that you're still get the result that you were looking for in the first place, that's what makes it successful.